Hey everyone, before we get into today's episode, I actually just want to give a disclaimer today that my audio in this episode sounds like I'm in a different room, and that's because I selected a weird setting on the mic where our guest Cookie sounds great, and I, like I said, sound like I'm in a different room. But that's all I have to say. Thank you so much, and enjoy the episode.
Karstcast. My name is Jeff. I watch movies sometimes.
And I'm Karsten. I also watch movies sometimes. You're listening to the Karstcast Moviecast.
Hello, welcome to the 8th episode. I'm not actually
right.
sure. This is the first episode, 87. This is the first episode I haven't come fully prepared for in a long time. But we're hanging in there. Jeff, what sport is the focus of the movie The Color of Money?
The Color of Money?
The Color of Money.
Well, I've never heard
know
of that movie.
Okay, it's got.
So, I'm just
got Tom
gonna
Cruise
take
in
a
it.
guess. Okay, well, I was gonna say cricket, so I know that's wrong because there's no way Tom Cruise was in a cricket movie.
I just wouldn't let that happen.
Yeah.
This is like two questions in one. Because
Is
what
it-
color
is it-
is money?
Right,
Yeah,
right.
is it Scientology ball?
Come on, man. Come on. The one day I don't have the soundboard up. No.
Low hanging fruit.
It is, it's pool.
It's
That's a
pool.
sport.
Yeah,
Oh, right,
pool.
because like hustling,
Right.
like pool. That's, actually, you know what? I'm with Cookie on this. That's not a sport. That
Yeah.
question. That's not a. That question's wrong. The
would
premise
argue differently, but
is wrong.
You think that's a sport?
Yeah. When's the last time you guys played pool?
Like every morning. And I don't do sports every morning. Thank you. Why would I do a sport every morning? I do pool
Yeah.
every morning.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if there are any sports where you just stand for half of it watching someone else.
Well, a lot of it, like the arm is in
Tennis.
Yeah. Golf?
I don't think. Okay, if you're standing still
Golf a
while you're playing
sport?
tennis,
Golf.
you're doing it wrong.
No,
You're
but
not
like
gonna
you're
win
waiting
a lot
for
of-
someone else.
Tennis. You're running constantly. You're not just. You don't just hit the ball and stand there and wait for the other person to hit it.
I thought this was a movie podcast. That's my bad. That's my bad.
Someone doesn't listen to the podcast a lot because we only talk about sports.
Yeah. Guilty.
Yeah, well, if you can't tell, we have someone on the podcast today.
It's
Oh yeah,
Jeff.
we really
Jeff.
should have. We really should have talked about the fact that there's another person here before.
Yeah.
What are 5 minutes into it?
Well, third time's a charm, right? This is your third time here. I feel like
Apparently.
it doesn't even need an introduction, but Cookie is here.
Thank you for having me.
Close friend of the pod. Not a
Aw.
friend in real life.
No,
Yeah.
probably not.
But you are one of the only people that our Twitter account follows.
Aw. I
Yeah.
deactivated my Twitter, so that means nothing.
Well,
But thank you. I appreciate it. That's so nice. Aw.
Yeah.
We should start a podcast. I'm kidding.
Yeah. You have been like highly requested to be back on, for the record.
That's
I'm pretty
cool.
sure if you replaced me, no one would complain.
And
If
I
I'm
also
being-
changed my name.
Also changed the name.
I would be fine with that too.
Yeah.
yeah.
I look like a Karsten.
Yeah. Is that what I look like?
Yeah, all the
Is that
time.
impression?
Dude, isn't this? He's like,
It's
for
just,
those who can't,
it's like a
can't see,
smile
it's
where
like-
you can see. Yeah, it's like that sound and a smile where you see all of the teeth.
an all teeth smile. Britney
All-
Spears smiles
yeah.
like that.
60 of my teeth, yeah.
Also, it's yeah.
Yeah.
Famously, that's why I have a fan base online, is for my
Right. That's
Teeth.
yeah. It's for your teeth.
excessive teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah. You should be sponsored by your dentist.
Yeah. I actually have to book a dentist appointment pretty soon. It's been a while. I've been thinking, like, how are they holding up with COVID, right?
I've wondered that
dentist?
too, because
Like, that's
how are you gonna
real,
avoid?
like, maskless?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you still wear a mask.
Well, they're like,
Yeah, obviously.
This is bad. He's like, what's going on here? It's bad.
They're like, the light isn't bright enough.
He's like,
Let
you
me just
lost
make it brighter.
all your teeth. It's blue. This is a really dumb bit.
Weird texture. Yeah, dumb
yeah.
bit.
I will say before we get too far into it that I want to thank everyone who bought a hat. They officially sold out, which is really great.
Yep.
Jeff, if you want to speak on it. I do want to thank Jeff for dealing with shipping and all that.
And I want to thank
you, Jeff.
Karsten for dealing with the stuff you dealt with.
I think we should thank
thing.
Cookie. I think
yeah.
we're not getting
Yeah.
enough Cookie appreciation.
And
in
Cookie
the
as
last.
well for making the hats.
Making the hats by hand.
the-
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah. But thank you guys.
Excellent embroidery job.
Thank you.
Right.
I don't hear it enough, and it feels good to hear that. Are they embroidered? That's so nice.
They are. We have one actually
Yeah, see,
right
this
back
is
there. You can.
Also,
Oh, and Jeff is actually wearing one. I don't know why.
Wow, it's like a surround sound
Yeah.
of hats. That's awesome.
yeah.
Really, so if you guys want one, you can't get one, unfortunately, because they're sold out. But that's what the...
This is good advertising.
Right, so...
Yeah.
This is what good advertising looks like.
We'll have more merch soon,
Yeah.
eventually.
We should
in the
have
future.
dropped like one hat every month for 3 years. It would have been
took
very
us- well-
exclusive.
I agree.
It did take us like 10 months to sell these hats, to be honest, altogether, the whole process. But,
Yeah.
yeah.
But we did it,
We
and
did it.
and we're done with that. I don't have to keep going to the post office and then being annoyed with me.
You being annoyed with yourself?
I was annoyed with myself, but the one time I went with 17 boxes, and the person working was like, "I hate you." They didn't say it, but they said it with their eyes.
Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah.
I hear that.
Um,
Did you watch Kajillionaire, Jeff?
I did watch Kajillionaire.
what a great...
That's a good segue.
We gotta have you on more often.
Just directly asking
Yeah,
what a
we gotta talk
natural...
about movies more often. Yeah, Then when did you watch it, for the record? I want to prove a point here.
So I
It's, like,
finished
on
it
in
like
the
an hour
background.
ago.
Okay, cool. I was just telling Cookie how you usually time it so that you finish the movie right when we record the podcast.
Yeah, it was close to that. Yeah, I was a little ahead of the game this time.
Did you cry?
Um,
You don't have to answer
at
that.
the
Just,
at the film
yeah.
or just in general.
I want both answers, but you don't have to say which one is which answer.
Yeah, I will say I teared up.
Did you?
Yes.
Wait.
What part?
When is okay? Well, we'll get into it in a second. Wait, I was gonna ask like how often you cry at movies, Jeff.
I would say not that frequently.
Usually
It's
just
probably
Garfield
probably like a
movies.
few. Yeah, it's probably like only a few movies a year, honestly.
Okay. I don't think we've ever talked about that. I didn't assume. I wonder what other movies you've cried at that we've talked about on the podcast. Probably.
Yeah.
Kazam.
Yeah, definitely Kazam.
That joke went over my head.
Yeah, no,
in the most beautiful
that
ways.
one's for the Karst fans
Yeah.
out there. Yeah. But anyways, I guess we will talk about the movie.
I mean, while we're at it, did either of you cry?
Oh my god, yes. Are you kidding me? You didn't cry, right?
I did not cry.
Did you tear up?
I got the little lump in the throat feeling.
Yeah.
But I get that a lot when I watch it. I feel like every movie has like that one specific moment
Yeah.
in the third act. The climax, usually, is what it's referred to as. I always get like a little lumpy in the throat.
Because you're like, ugh, it's about to end.
Yeah, I'm like, no, I love
No.
movies so much. I don't want to stop watching movies.
Keep going! This should be 4 hours!
I'm like, oh. Yeah.
Do you remember what
So
moment
you-
that
you-
happened?
Oh yeah, you wanna? Yeah, you go.
It was the moment. Well, I don't want to spoil too much because I want this to be mostly spoiler free, but we will get into spoilers. But it was in the end where, let's say she's moving a lot. She's like dancing around in a room. You know them?
I know what you're talking about because I just
You know
watched
what I'm
it.
talking about?
Oh,
Yeah. I think that's like a really
Yeah.
nice moment in the movie, and I'm just I almost cried then.
Yeah.
But yeah. Before we get too far into it, I guess I'll read the damn Google synopsis.
Yeah.
Like we always do.
We're known for that.
Google
Yeah,
sponsor.
this is a 2020 release. It premiered at Sundance. It's directed by Miranda July, but we thought it could be Julie too. I
Maybe.
don't think it's Julie though. It could be.
I say Miranda July, but
Yeah.
in my head I'm like, Julie?
Yeah. And the synopsis reads: 2 con artists have spent.
Should we do
26
every other word?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
you might as well.
Jeff, you just improvised the third word.
2
Con
artists
have
spent
26
years
training
their
only
daughter
to
swindle
scam
and
steal
at
every
turn.
During
a
desperate
and
hastily
conceived
heist,
they
charm
a
stranger
into
joining
them
only
to
have
their
entire
world
turned
upside
Down.
down. Jeff, wait, have you seen this movie? How did you know?
Wait, we should do a
Yeah.
podcast on this.
You
I'm
should
I'm actually a copywriter for Google
No
movie
kidding.
synopsis.
No kidding. Dude, that's an excellent gig.
Yeah.
That's like a 13-15 hour gig.
Can I just
assume.
say, one of the better synopses we've read.
Like accurate, do you
Yeah.
mean?
Well, they're usually just throwing like a big word for no reason.
Heist.
So Carson's
Two.
saying that because every time there's one word he doesn't know, and then he has
He's
to
like,
ask
the
what the word is.
So, how
Like
often
what?
do you use the word caddish?
Cattish?
Caddish. Caddish.
Cabbage. I don't know.
Right? Exactly.
I don't know what that means.
Okay, I'm not saying I didn't agree, but that is definitely why you brought it up. Because, like, I think
Caddish.
that 2 out of our last 5 episodes, there's been a word in the synopsis that
Yeah.
Karsten didn't know.
I know 6 words, so they really stumped me most of the time, to be honest.
You knew a lot of these words.
Yeah.
Or that was just great improv. Either way, I'm impressed.
One of the producers' name is, I was going to say it's Yuri, but it almost looks like it says your. Like
Yeah.
you are, yeah.
That must be so annoying for them. People probably say your and they're like,
Yeah.
ugh.
That's a nice name.
Yeah.
Okay, well, anyways. Where do we start with this?
I want to know what part Jeff cried at.
Yeah. what
Or
part did you
teared up
cry
at.
Without spoiling it, though.
Well,
So go ahead and say.
yeah. So,
it out.
it was the scene. Okay, I'm trying to.
Are we
make sure
doing
I
the
don't
one word
spoil
at a
anything.
time thing again?
Yeah.
It was the scene.
Where?
They.
Yeah, they. Okay, it was when they were all in that guy's house.
Oh my god, yeah. Sorry,
Yeah,
I know
so-
exactly.
yeah.
Oh, that
old
one.
guy's
yeah.
house.
Yeah, that one is. That's quite the scene.
Yeah.
How are you
okay,
able to talk about
that
movies without
scene-
spoiling?
Yeah, I don't
Well, I
know.
think-
Normally we spoil them.
We do a pretty good job. Let's do a non-spoiler section first, and then
Yeah,
get into
and then we
spoilers.
jump into
Let's
it.
And then at the end, we can say they all died.
Yeah. At the end of the podcast, when we're past the movie discussion and
Yeah.
no one's expecting it,
Yep.
Once they've all turned off the podcast.
right, which is most of them.
Yeah. 2 minutes in, they're like, I'm out. They're talking about sports this
Yeah.
week. Nah, it's over. It's curtains. Curtains for the
Oh, it's
Karstcast.
the billiards episode. They said they were gonna do that.
Billiards versus pool. That's so real.
I don't know the difference, to be honest.
I think it's the same thing.
The
Is
only
it?
I think it's the same
I
thing.
think they're the same, and they're both definitely not sports.
Yeah, I agree.
'Cause, well,
Because you
okay,
can't, like,
well-
smoke during sports, but you can smoke while
They're-
you're, like...
Yeah,
Cueing
they're
the-
a skill, right?
Yeah.
Because I think that there's a line between skill and sport. And
Yeah.
golf is that line, right? Golf is the
Yeah.
one where I think there's arguments for it being a sport and a skill. But billiards is one step to the skill side, where it's for sure not a sport.
And sport is skill with physical exertion.
Which is pool
Right.
and billiards.
What?
There's a physical.
But that's-
yeah. With
Okay,
the,
Okay,
but your
way-
argument for physical exertion is literally just moving it all.
Yeah, sitting up in bed is a sport.
No.
You sound so ridiculous right now. You sound so dumb. It's crazy. Sitting up. He said that in his voice. I heard him. Sitting up in bed is
just
a
the way you
sport.
gotta get in a specific position.
I think you're just
and-
out of shape,
Yeah.
dude.
No, literally today
You're holding
was
a
the
stick.
first day where I was on a bike ride and I was like, I'm in shape. I think I'm in shape. And you come on my podcast.
I'm not even here. You made me up in your
That is-
heads.
Yeah, that's true.
It's the beautiful thing about it.
Yeah.
Kajillionaire.
Anyways, Kajillionaire.
When they said the name of the movie, I was like, that was so natural and easy.
I was gonna say this is the
Perfect
first time-
name drop.
I first of all didn't
Yeah.
expect them to ever say the title of the movie.
Yeah.
And then they did, and it worked.
It was so
It
good.
worked.
It was so perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
So-
smooth.
Because it wasn't like a Kajillionaire. And they're like
Yeah.
winking at you, you know?
Yeah.
It wasn't that.
Yeah, they only broke the fourth wall once to say Kajillionaire the whole time, and I was like, okay, I'm still in it.
Yeah.
Can I just say I liked every performance in this.
Yeah.
Everyone. I mean, Evan Rachel Wood. I don't think I've seen her in anything else, to be honest.
She reminded me a lot of my, like, best friend Zandy.
Okay.
Because she has really long blonde
Mm-hmm.
hair. I also read some, like, thing came up on Letterboxd where it was some interview or something about Kajillionaire, and they said that the actress who played her, this is like the main character, right?
Yeah.
The actress who played her like naturally has that deep of a voice, and she like got vocal training so that it would be like higher pitched. And then so she was like talking in her higher pitched like trained voice, and then Miranda July was like, wait, do that deeper voice thing that I like. And then she just like spoke in that, and it just like worked so well for the character.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
No, because
So that was her
Don't
normal
see-
voice?
Yeah, that's just her voice.
Because I was watching an interview with her and she had a different voice. Maybe I'm talking about a whole.
I think she
different
ups
person.
her
for
voice.
like,
She like got vocal training so that she has a higher
Oh.
pitched voice. And that's just
so
like
for
how
everything
she naturally,
else. So the higher pitched
Right,
voice
right.
Is
now
it
became her
trained?
normal
She's
voice
used to
that's
it, yeah.
trained because
Right.
that's like the conventionally
Right.
appropriate like
Right.
voice for that type of actress.
Yeah.
Okay,
Exactly,
I
yeah.
understand. We're on the same
That's
page.
really that's interesting. I wonder how many other like actors have that. Like,
Dude, I feel like the entire history of acting is people having to change their voice.
Yeah.
Like the mid-Atlantic accent.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys know me. This isn't how I actually talk.
Yeah, no,
My
Yeah. You have a
My
thick
voice is
Boston
We don't-
accent.
like this.
thick. Yeah, exactly. Thick.
Yeah.
We all know this.
Yeah,
guy.
well, I know that was a big thing, like the transition from talkies or like from silent films to talkies. There were some actors and actresses who like never got work again because their voices were so ridiculous.
Wasn't that the plot of that one movie? Singing in the Rain.
Hubie Halloween
No?
with his. Oh yes.
Huey Halloween.
I haven't seen it.
No,
Haven't
yeah,
seen
Singing
it.
in the Rain. I had no idea that movie was about that until I watched it. I was like,
Yeah, I didn't
I
either.
thought this was about weather. Yeah, no, I really like her voice is such a huge part about this movie
Yeah.
to me. Cause like,
Dude, her name reveal. Sorry.
her name reveal.
Yeah,
Wait,
okay, that
Because
was
we had the subtitles on. It was
Yeah.
like, Old Dolio, who is that?
Yeah, we were like,
Yeah.
it was like
Nick
a
walks
whodunit.
by.
We were like, who is named
And
that?
who did it?
That was the real movie.
Do you watch
yeah,
movies with
and then-
subtitles on, Jeff? Sorry.
I would say I do like half the time.
What determines?
I mean, well, one thing that for sure determines is if it's a foreign film that's not in English.
Why would that determine? Can you? Why? Simply
Yeah, no, you
learn
know
the
what? Maybe I'll
language.
try it. Yeah.
We should do that. We should like try to see how much we understand of a foreign movie.
I don't know if you were in on this, but I remember when we were in Paris,
Mm-hmm.
Parasite was in
Yeah.
theaters then, but they didn't have English subtitles. It was only French.
I know. I wanted to see it,
And-
but I was like,
yeah.
then it would kind of ruin it. I
Yeah,
feel like.
it was like almost like 6 months ahead
Yeah.
of the U.S. release, and we
Yeah.
were like, should we just see it?
What if we-
without knowing what's being said?
Yeah, because it would be almost like a spoiler. I
Yeah.
feel like the reveal would be so cool still.
Yeah,
But-
that's the thing. I think you
Yeah.
could still pick up on a lot in that movie. To be
Yeah.
honest, it's just very.
Did you go see any films in theaters that had French subtitles when you were there?
No, I think we like specifically sought out movies that had English subtitles or like
Yeah.
that were English dubs. Like we saw.
English-
Were
yeah,
you there when we
'cause-
saw Dumbo? The
No,
Tim
I
Burton
skipped that
Dumbo?
one,
Yeah.
Yeah, because when I was traveling, like when I would see films, I would go to like the English showings, obviously, but then I would still be reading the subtitles, even though it was a language I didn't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like trying to read Hungarian subtitles, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What movie did you see there?
So in Hungary, I saw Joker,
How was that?
which okay, the thing about that, which I've mentioned before on this podcast, is that so you know how he's like a notebook that like well, there's a shot where he's like it's in the beginning he has like a notebook and he like there's a shot where he's like reading it.
Okay.
But they like rotoscoped it out to where it was in Hungarian. So I thought that the bit for like 1 second, I thought the bit was that it was gibberish, that he was writing gibberish notes, and I'm like, oh no, wait, they in post they just changed it to Hungarian.
That's so funny.
It's crazy, dude.
Dude. They should do that for all movies. Have them in Hungarian.
Yeah,
I think all
yeah,
movies.
because
Yeah.
so Hungarian is notoriously the most difficult language to learn of all European languages.
Yeah.
Learn like
yeah,
from
it's-
birth, like if it's your first
No,
language.
No, because like every language is equally easy to learn if it's your native language, because that's just the language that you grow up with. But if you were trying to learn it as someone who did not grow up in Hungary, who didn't speak Hungarian, like right now, if you were gonna decide,
Yeah.
I'm gonna learn a European language,
But
that
is
is,
it-
actually the most difficult European language.
Is it because it's so different from?
Yes, it's
'Cause it's, like,
pretty much
not a
unrelated
romance?
to almost any of the other European languages.
Wait, what's like the history linguistically of Hungarian? Where does it come from?
So it just has a lot of like very specific rules that are very hard to understand, and there's like so many like vowels and different types of letters. I don't know all the exact reasons, but that's kind of the gist of it.
Cool.
Because I looked this up just
Do you
So I
know
was
anything
bored.
in Hungarian?
No.
Do you?
Do I?
Do I?
Yeah.
What if I just started? Sorry, go ahead.
I've only spent like total 2 weeks in Hungary, so I definitely didn't learn a lot there. But I looked that the easiest languages to learn are like the normal ones, like
Normal?
Spanish. Well, okay,
Normal?
ones that people learn.
I'm peeking.
Normal in that the ones that generally people would
Normal?
learn as like an additional language.
Sorry, for sure. I disagree, but
So Spanish, French, those of course, but then the other ones that
The
are
colonist
supposed to be
languages.
fairly, yeah, exactly. But the other ones that are supposed to be fairly easy to learn are Swedish and Danish.
oh, interesting.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why can you see that?
Well, so
'Cause he's
Miranda
Scandinavian.
July, I want to talk about.
Okay, yeah, Kajillionaire. Sorry.
I want to ask you though, because you've seen her other movie.
Yeah.
Me, you, and everyone I know.
Everyone we know?
We know
I don't know.
someone.
Yeah.
What I like about this is it's so specific. Like everything about like the acting and the way it's shot.
Yeah.
Like I can see a bunch of like influence, but it's like nothing looks or is the way this movie is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your
And is
favorite
that-
shot?
Okay, it's any shot where this shot is all over the internet where they're like ducking and they're all doing like
Yeah.
a different thing
Yeah.
to go under.
I don't understand how someone's back can bend like that.
Oh my god, she's incredible.
Like the
I
limbo
could do
champion
that.
of the world.
I'll do that right now.
Movie magic. It was actually two people in a giant trench coat
Yeah.
doing a.
That's why it was a 90-degree
Yeah.
angle exactly.
That's my fun fact of the day.
That's why she was 10 feet tall.
Yeah.
Dude, we were watching it together, and I felt so bad because I kept being like, this is a perfect movie. This is the best movie ever.
We
I'm
were
like,
5 minutes in, and Cookie was like, "I'm giving it 5 stars."
I know, I was like, this is a 5-star movie. Like, 30 minutes into it, I'm like, this is going in the top 4.
Yeah.
I was just like, I knew. I'm like,
Yeah.
I knew.
Sometimes you know.
Sometimes you just know.
Yeah, I mean, any of the shots with like the suds coming out of the wall
Yeah.
was like gorgeous. I mean,
Yeah. It was so funny, too. It was like
Yeah.
such a funny movie. And not in
Yeah.
like a joke way, but in like I don't know.
yeah. It's kind of like it reminded me of like a Yorgos Lanthimos movie with like a
Yeah,
lot
but
more
less messed up.
color. Yeah, like a not I don't want to say happy, but like more normal, I guess. But
I
not
think just
normal.
like different. Stop saying the word normal because you guys both use that word a lot. And I'm just asking you to reflect.
Wait, how many other times have I said
Jeff
it today?
said normal earlier.
There's nothing normal
about
about
something.
this.
I don't know. I forget what it was about, but I was like clocked. He thinks things are normal.
Yeah, no, I was talking about Normal, Illinois, the city.
Okay. Yeah. I see that though. Is the thing is I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that happening.
Cool. Well, what are some other like non-spoiler things we could say about this?
Okay, so elaborating on what you said, Karsten. This film does feel very specific, but in a way where I think some films that are this specific, where it's, because a lot of films are like, oh, here's the everyman, like every Marvel film's like, this is an everyman, and he turns into a superhero. But this is just about such a specific group of people.
Yeah.
I think that sometimes it's hard for me to find films where the morality of the film is that relatable.
What was relatable to you?
I mean, I think that the way that, because these were very pushed to the extremes versions of like relationships.
Totally.
But I think that the fundamental aspect of the relationship and like, the yearning for like, I mean, obviously in this, I think that one of the smartest scenes I've seen in a long time, well, there's two of them. My two favorite scenes in this film were right in the beginning, the massage scene.
Yes. Oh my
Yeah.
god. I was like, she's so touch starved.
Brilliant.
Intimacy,
Yeah,
tenderness. I'll
that's
scream.
the thing is putting that type of person who is like afraid to be touched in a massage parlor.
And the fact that it was an experience instead of a money thing, it's like the
Yeah.
monetary value can't really be exchanged for this experience of being massaged,
Yeah.
Especially because it wasn't just like a getting your knots out massage. It was like she was like hovering her hands over her
Right.
back. I don't know if that's too much of a spoiler.
No. That makes
But-
sense.
So that's like one of the best introductions to a character, because that's still early
Yeah.
enough to where you were still learning who this character was, and that
Yeah.
more than like any bad exposition dialogue that like a lot of films have, where it just was such like a genius way to portray that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also just the fact that they said her name so late into the movie and like she explained, it felt much more natural, you know? It was like a mystery that you had solved, because you kind of found out everyone else's names because they would call each other their names, but like the parents never referred to her by her name. And like when she was like introducing herself to someone, she was like, or like when she was gonna go to the parenting class, she was like, "What's your name?" so that she could sign in on the sheet. And then the other girl asks, "Oh, what's your name?" And she's like, "I'm not gonna tell you. Like, I just needed to sign in." Do you remember that moment? Like earlier on, before she goes to the parenting class.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to kind of like touch on the massage thing a little bit.
Yes, that's right.
Where it's like she is so good, and well, she's like paying so much attention to settings and like where characters are and like getting the most out of them. Because
Miranda July.
Yeah, Miranda July. Because I think a lot of movies, not a lot, but like it's like the settings characters end up in are kind of like what you expect. But it's like there's the scene at the gas station near the end, which is an unbelievable scene. And then there's the final shot, which is in a place that I talked to you about. It's just like such a great aesthetic. I'm like, no one uses that setting ever in a movie.
Yeah.
And like a billion other examples, like just the way she's using public spaces to be the place where a lot of these events take place in is just, it's interesting and different. Like a grocery store and stuff. I like, that's the point of the movie, but.
And like a department store.
Yeah.
That's also in her other movie, is most of it takes place in a department store.
I love that.
Yeah. So it's like there's no department store movies. And it's like,
We
we've all
need
been
more
there.
department store movies.
That's is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is what I've been trying to say.
Yeah.
There's so many parts of this film that you could analyze in like a pretty in-depth way that it's hard to wrap your brain around like where to start even. Because there's even this like dichotomy between like early on in the film, the guy who's, I guess, you know, he's like the construction site foreman, but he's like their landlord, and how he's someone who actually has an inability to not express emotion, you know, against then this character you're introduced to who can't show emotion.
Yeah.
It's just like there's so many extra layers that you don't even, you know, need to add, but you know, there's like, you know what?
Yeah.
Everything, throw it at the wall, but in a good way. That made it sound like I pretty much just used a phrase to say just unconcentrated chucking stuff at a wall, but I meant it in the complete opposite way. So that, you know what, I'm just not going to talk for the next 20 seconds. You guys can.
Should we just all be silent? Should we just take a moment of just cool.
All right,
I'm satisfied.
Cool.
Yep,
I
felt
will
good.
say
That was good.
I'm not gonna. This is like, this movie's so far from boring. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't want to say it's the most interesting movie. It is, but like,
Jeff, how do you say interesting? Because this kid says it in the
Interesting?
Interesting. No, he says interesting. Do you say interesting?
I say interesting.
Okay, cool. 2v1.
I say interesting.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Resting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's just weird.
Yeah, I think we talked about like how different parts of the country like have different words for things, like how Wisconsin calls water
Why do you
fountains bubblers.
say it like that? Wisconsin? You guys are
Wisconsin?
so weird.
One more time. Say it.
Wisconsin.
Yeah, that's weird. Wisconsin?
It's Wisconsin.
I don't
Wisconsin. It's
I don't say Wisconsin.
Yeah. What
Sorry, go ahead.
do you guys say?
Yeah, they say bubbler. I think Michigan too.
I say bag.
What? What is that word? What it for a water fountain?
For bags. Bags.
Do you know what he's saying?
Like a grocery bag.
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 Bag?
That's bag.
Bagel.
No.
No, I don't say that. I don't say that. I used to.
Did you used to?
Yeah, in high school I had a brief where I said, put the bagel in the bag.
Oh my god.
And everyone's like, fuck you. They're like, we live in the same state. You're not kidding anybody.
This kid lives on such a farm. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Honestly, I kind of just want to get into spoilers, if I'm being honest.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. This is for when I'm editing it.
If you want to skip spoilers, head to the 40-minute, 48-second mark.
Just know. Even though we've already spoiled a lot. So what's the first spoil? Okay, I will say, just like, you called it. that they would
That it was gonna be gay.
That it was gonna be gay.
I know. I was like, this is the gayest movie I've ever seen in my entire life. They
And
just like were in the same shot together.
And-
I was like, this is so
Literally,
gay.
yeah. The very first shot they were in it together, you
Yeah.
were like, they're gonna fuck.
Yeah.
No, what you said was the only way this movie can get better is if they end up together by the end.
Yeah.
They literally do
Yeah.
that.
I know, and I was like,
Yeah.
perfect movie. That's
Wait,
it.
yeah, I definitely only got that the scene when like
The nails?
that's introduced, and then the nails, yeah, like the scene where it becomes so obvious that you can't not understand that's what's happening.
Yeah.
Well, you brought it up, and then I immediately was on board. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's
It's so
Once
palpable
you know,
is the thing.
you know,
And
but
I've
it's
also
like-
been thinking it for a minute. I was like, nah, it's a gay movie. This is a gay film.
before Gina Rodriguez popped up. You were like, Gina Rodriguez is gonna
No.
be in this movie.
Okay, obviously she was a lesbian. The main character? Hello?
I just-
Okay, fine. You can't say that, but I can say that. It was very obvious to me.
I just like how that and like so many other tiny things just unravel
Yeah.
throughout the movie so carefully. I mean, she doesn't toss anything at you too soon or like doesn't
It was
waste
such a perfect
anything.
movie.
It's a very perfectly paced and unwrapped
Yeah.
thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I really liked that about it. What else? Oh, okay. The parents too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
I
the
could get
parents.
into that.
talked about the parents. Yeah. Do you want to
Yeah.
touch on the? Well,
No, you say what you're gonna say.
I don't have a ton to say about the parents. I mean, I do, but like I don't know how to put it into words. I just think they're very interesting characters, and
Thank you
also
for saying
the
it
way.
like that. Interesting. Thank
See,
you.
I
noted.
I switch it back and forth, and I think that's
Yeah.
the most irritating part. That's the interesting thing about it.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Jeff?
Oh yeah, no, I was just gonna say that the parents, like, there's so many layers of how they interact with their daughter, where there's like such a like, I don't know. I felt by the end of it, I understood completely the entire relationship of this family. So my understanding is that they like, as part of a very large scheme, that's why they even had a daughter to begin with, and that's why they refused to show any genuine emotion towards them, was because they intentionally did not want to get attached in a real way that a real parent-child relationship would have. So the entire, because again, they named her like after like a lottery winner in an effort to,
Yeah.
Yeah.
get lottery money. So the whole thing was like a scam from the beginning. But then even,
Yeah, I felt like they were trying to breed the perfect like heist person,
Yeah,
like an emotionless,
exactly.
stone cold. But just people aren't actually like that,
Right. But the thing is, none of that is necessarily in the film. It's just there, like all these pieces that you get, like you can put the puzzle together yourself. Where it's not that explicit, that backstory of that, of like why they would choose to have a child or not. But I think there's just so much in the film where you can make
Yeah, you can
these
come to those
assertions and
conclusions.
feel pretty confident in them.
Yeah, it never like hands it to you. It's always just like presenting you the facts as they are now, and then it's like, oh, I'm putting together the backstory.
And can I just say, like, they could
No.
leave it.
Jeff, go on. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
We just sit in silence for another 20 seconds.
Do you want to? That was so
That
fun.
was nice, yeah. I don't think a podcast has ever done that, to be honest.
Revolutionary, I do think.
Yeah.
They could have stopped with the parent plot there and just kind of left. They could have like really fleshed that out as like this, just that parent relationship with her, and it could have been a different movie. But Miranda July just put so much attention to the like old Dolio.
Yeah.
Like she is such a like layered and complicated character in this, when in reality like this movie could just be about those parents and just a shitty scheme.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, because it wasn't really about the heist. Ultimately, it was about
exactly, yeah.
it was about like the mother-daughter relationships. I think like that was the crux of the whole film, is just mother-daughter relationships.
Yeah.
Because like it felt like old Dolio and her mom. She was like, "What if we just did like a mother-daughter trip? Like, I don't know, is that crazy of me to suggest?" And then the mom was like, "Why would we do that? LOL." And then so it was like a very emotionally neglectful, in like a very obvious way, relationship. Whereas in like Gina Rodriguez's character and her mom, like her mom was so like just way too
Yes.
like attached and very much like the little comment about that's like a mug warmer. Like my mom usually buys 2 of everything and then will like send me the other one. And it's like on the surface that might look like, oh, that's sweet. That's maybe like a kind gesture, but you see that it's just like, I don't know if you guys know anything about like attachment style theory or anything like that.
Not a lot.
A lot?
No, not a lot.
Too much, in fact. It's kind of like a psychological theory about like how people attach themselves to each other, and like I like it because it's a lot about like how our, less like Freudian, but like how our parent relationships affect our relationships with our peers. And so like I don't want to be like lecturing at you guys.
No.
But it's like it just felt like the like what the point of the movie was like Gina Rodriguez's relationship with her mom was, she was like, I want to get away from her because she's like way too clingy and like holding me too close. And so she was drawn to these people who are kind of like emotionally distant and kind of like, oh, free flowing, like whatever, we'll like have fun. And then their family unit was so like disconnected from each other. And it was just like, oh my God, this is so genius. Because it's like there's parents who are so emotionally neglectful unless it's something that they need. Because it wasn't like, sorry, I'm just like up on my little soapbox.
No, honestly, this is the smartest thing that's ever been said on this podcast.
I told you this. Yeah, you.
Let's get my friend who goes to a lot of therapy.
I feel like I was at like, okay, if this is like the full understanding of the movie, I feel like I was here and I was missing something. And the fact that this like 2 extremes.
Yeah, it's the
like,
2 extremes of emotional neglect.
Yeah.
Right, and then they met each other in the middle.
Exactly. And so they were able to see through each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it felt like Gina Rodriguez's was like a needy mom, and it's like the mom is like giving love when she needs it, or she'll be like, oh my God, I heard there was an earthquake, like, are you safe? Are you okay? Because it's like a worry for the mom, you know? And then Old Dolio's mom is like, they also have that concern for the earthquake stuff, but it's like in a kind of more, I don't know, it was like in a different way. You know, it was less in a worrying for her safety and more in like a worrying for themselves way.
I kind of want to, like, on that note, like, hear what you have to say about that gas station scene. Because that is like, that is like the scene of the movie to me.
Yeah.
Like, it's so powerful, and like now that you like bring most of this up and like tying that, like how would you tie that into that scene specifically?
I don't know. Okay. Because that's not the first scene that comes to mind. The first scene that comes to mind is the old man scene where they're like, and the guy is dying. Yeah. And I guess they're kind of paralleling scenes. But I don't know, why did that remind you of the gas station scene?
I don't know.
Not to turn it back at you.
Well, no, I was not paying much attention to Gina Rodriguez's character in that scene, and I honestly forgot that she was there, and I didn't take that into consideration, like, in the movie. Like, I was just so focused on Old Dolio, because she's basically, like, it's like a rebirth, basically.
Yeah,
I feel like she's
baptism.
A baptism.
Right.
A gas station baptism.
At the 7-Eleven.
With a Mountain Dew.
Wherever that was, yeah.
Yeah.
I am so dumb.
Why?
I finally understood the ending of this film right now. I just understood the ending of this film now.
That it's gay?
It's like, oh, they're kids.
Oh, wait, they're into each other? I didn't get it.
I thought they were friends.
I thought they were just close talking.
She had a secret. She was just whispering it in her mouth.
You'll hear it better this way.
Yeah. No, I mean when they were returning the items at the end.
Oh, I also said that. I was like, it's gonna add up to.
Yeah, see, I just got that now. I know everyone else already understood that, but I'm just dumb, and I just understood that right now. So I was like, oh.
Well, yeah, because that was like the third option that Old Dolio presented. She was like, if they leave the 525, that's my third. You know, and that means that they love me, but they can't help but being the way that they are. And it's like, they love you in the way that they are only capable of loving you. And I think that was like the most painful thing for me to watch in this movie, because I cried 12 times and had a panic attack afterwards, and then it like made us go on a walk afterwards, and then it started raining. Perfect day, really, and I say that sincerely.
Still haven't washed my clothes.
No?
From that. Well, actually I did. Yeah, never mind. That was Saturday.
What?
Anyways.
So he lied.
I have other.
You were just trying to cover right now.
No,
yeah, he just
the
lies.
thing is, I went on a bike ride tonight, and I sweat a lot, and so I had other wet clothes in the closet right now, and I thought that was but no, that was just. I just got wet clothes in my closet.
That's so.
So all your clothes are wet.
Yeah,
I mean,
Every
you
morning
have
he
some
wakes
wet
up and he's
clothes.
like, all right,
And I
drip, 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 pouring water all over them.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Do you guys have anything else to say about it?
I feel like I have so many
Yeah,
things to
I feel
say
like there's
about
a
it.
lot.
Yeah.
You are opening, I think, both Jeff and I up to a lot about the movie.
Yeah.
Thank you, I've done so much therapy.
But,
It was a very painful movie to watch.
Well, yeah. Well, that's the thing. When I'm looking at it more through that lens, I thought it was like super beautiful and like liberating by the end. I think the ending of this movie is so like, I just love that final shot so much. But yeah, it's kind of a lot more depressing than I took into consideration.
Yeah. I definitely didn't fully understand the Gina Rodriguez like opposite end of the spectrum situation as much until you kind of spoke about that. So I feel like now I have it definitely feels like a much more complete like there's not really any part of this film that's open for interpretation as much for me now. Not in a bad way. I mean, like I think I understand almost all the elements that you are intended to pick up from this at this point, which for me is rare. I think I usually watch a film and I'm like, that was cool, and then I see anyone say anything about it and I'm like, yeah, I should not have a movie podcast.
This is us revoking your license.
Yeah. But yeah, that was yeah, we'll sit for like 20 seconds and then
Yeah, let's do another sit.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
What are we feeling for a rating?
For this episode of the
Wow.
podcast,
Yeah,
we rate
yeah.
ourselves. I think I got like a 3. I don't know.
Out of 10.
Out of 10. Out of a million. A fui out of a million. For this movie, I gave it a 5 out of 5.
Yeah. I also gave it a 5 off my first watch.
Yeah.
I feel like, now, let me explain this. I look at this like in a similar way that I looked at Parasite last year, where it's a movie
It
that
is this year's Parasite.
kind of, I mean, it's like, it's
If
this,
you can
like,
even compare movies.
it's a one-of-a-kind plot that doesn't have any specific genre and is like not trying to be anything other than its own thing and works so well with that. Like,
Yeah, I
I
feel
feel like
like
there's not any wasted space
Yeah.
in this movie.
Everything was intentional for itself and each other. It had
Yeah.
such a very specific like point of view that was like so clear to me just because I related to it so much.
Yeah.
And it felt like Parasites was like socioeconomic, and this was like our trauma that we incur from our mothers, you
Yeah.
know, and just like emotional neglect and how that manifests in different ways and how that gets passed down. And then that's kind of how it's like internalized, and then how we like project it onto other people, you know?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Jeff?
That's yeah, I'm gonna agree with that. That was
I'm gonna give that a thumbs up.
yeah.
What are you feeling for a score, Jeff?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely either 4.5 or 5. It's somewhere I haven't decided yet because I just watched it an hour and a half ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, it's gonna be one of those two.
Yeah.
Nice.
If he comes out with a 2, I will be like, oh,
Yeah.
whoa. Do you feel like if you
I
tend
actually.
to...
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say I don't really see anyone's Letterboxd ratings anymore because I followed like 200 random people.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't see any of your ratings.
Dude, I take it
I didn't,
so
I, didn't-
personally.
I didn't realize that there's no like way to because there's not a way on Letterboxd to
It's like mute.
well, not mute, but it's just like you can't have like people that you prefer to always see their reviews.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Like a extra good friend feature or something.
Like a close friend story.
Because right now it just doesn't encourage you to have more close friends. Would have been a better way of putting it than extra good.
I like the way you put it, though. It was a little bit poetic. It was
Yeah.
a little bit poetic.
But yeah, it doesn't encourage you to follow anyone that you don't know in real life because it's just gonna black out people you do know.
Yeah. I don't really like... I think I only follow like 80-something people. And even that, I'm like, it's all people that I know or people whose tastes I look up towards. But I'm like... It's just too hard to be following too many people. 'Cause I feel like it just gets lost.
Right.
Yeah.
The only person I need to follow is Karsten
Yeah, well,
and Cookie.
I was streaming last night, and there were 3 people in the chat that really wanted me to follow them on Letterboxd, and we're like really kind of pushing it all night. And at one point they were like, Jeff followed a lot of people. And I was like, there's different. Jeff and I do not work the same way.
Jeff wears a hat.
Jeff wears a hat.
Yeah.
Jeff is in a green room.
Do not. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I have so many people who are like, tell Karsten this. I'm like, you tell Karsten this.
I'll tell Karsten.
I'm not your...
Someone's
I'm
out
not
to
like-
kill you. They just told me to tell you.
Yeah, they're like, warn Karsten.
He's coming.
Yeah.
You're just like, that's not funny. It's too close to
Nothing
home.
funny about that. Okay. Well, I guess we'll get into questions, Q&As.
What's your favorite number, Jeff?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. What is
6.
your favorite number, Jeff?
Cool.
6.
Guess what mine
Yeah.
is?
12.
Oh my god, so close. It's 9. It's right between
Yeah, that's
6
only
and
3
12.
off. That's only 25% off.
Yeah.
See, I'm using Bluetooth headphones, so my response, Jeff's whatever he says is a little delayed. So you responded before he even said his
Whoa!
answer.
Wow.
So, should be
Cool.
a fun podcast to edit.
Yes, I'm clairvoyant.
Okay, I have.
Wait, your favorite number?
Oh, 64.
Yeah, I knew it, but
64.
Jeff didn't
Yeah,
know
yeah.
it.
I think
Maybe.
we've talked about it before, have we?
I think, yeah, we have, because I then remember thinking about the Nintendo 64.
Joey said the same
yeah,
thing.
Joey said the same thing.
Wow.
Cool. Well, we have a bunch of questions today. We have 4 questions. And we'll start with one of the $15 patron questions from the Patreon. It's from Jacob Colness.
Yeah, Cookie, that's right. We have people who pay us $15 a month to hear this.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, it's like 2 people, but yeah, we'll
That's
take
so
it.
awesome.
We appreciate you guys. Jacob asks, is there a non-Christmas film that still gives you those cozy Christmas feels? Don't say Paddington, and also don't say Paddington 2.
I've never seen Paddington 2, but I'm gonna say Paddington.
I haven't seen either of them.
Paddington, the first one was fine, but I know everybody loves the second one. Is it like a nostalgia feel? Is that what they're saying?
I don't know. Does Little Women count? Because that already, like...
It's sort of Christmassy, right?
Yeah, whenever I see a clip on Twitter or, like, listen to the score, it takes me back to last Christmas
Aw,
heavily,
yeah.
and I'm already nostalgic for it because it's just such a different time. But, yeah, I guess I'll say Little Women.
Jeff?
Okay, what was the question again?
It was Paddington 1 or Paddington 2. And you have to pick, even though you've never seen either.
So I said Little Women.
So he said Little Women, and you're gonna say...
Right, but the question, what was that?
It was, what...
He's like, no, actually ask me the question now. Thank
Actually,
you.
I forgot. Just because, based off what my interpretation of the question was, Little Women does not make sense. So I think I don't remember what the question is.
So is there a non-Christmas film that still gives you those cozy Christmas feels?
Okay, that I thought the question was the opposite.
Oh. Yeah, no.
What's the
I thought
opposite?
it was I thought it was asking about a Christmas movie that gives you the feels when it's not Christmas.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, that's a weird question, but
Yeah.
okay. So a non-Christmas
feel-good
film that
movie.
gives you but it makes you feel good about Christmas.
Yeah.
Does it have to be Christmas?
Well,
That's the
this
thing is because it
question. I
doesn't
didn't
explicitly it doesn't explicitly say in the question.
Well, so
that
my
it makes you feel good about
interpretation
Christmas.
is that it's like the way that Christmas makes you feel. Like, when else do you feel that when you watch a
okay.
movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good way of putting it.
I am
think-
Jacob, whatever his name was.
Yeah, I was about to say Jacob Colness could learn a thing or two about asking.
Learn a thing
questions.
or two. You will. I think mine is Howl's
So yeah,
Moving
Jacob,
Castle.
take notes.
That's a good one.
Howl's Moving Castle is like my go-to feel-good movie.
Yeah.
I watch it like 10 times a year.
What about Over the Garden Wall?
Definitely. Well, yeah.
What if we... Okay.
Do you want to watch Over the Garden Wall today?
I was going to pitch Fantastic Mr. Fox because I still haven't watched it this year, but...
Do you want to?
I'm down.
Okay, let's
you
do
know
it.
I'm down.
Yay!
Yeah.
Jeff?
Oh, I'm still on the spot on this.
I know. I just keep trying to buy you time.
I know, and you're doing a good job. I failed. I mean,
Feel-good movie.
So
What's like
one
your
of
go-to
them-
nostalgia movie or something?
yeah. I mean, so I'm gonna try to come up with the second one because my first answer is Ishtar, and that's just the movie that isn't inherently feel good. It's just for me, it's feel good because it's so dumb and just has a bunch of songs that you can sing along with.
Aw.
Yeah.
So that's just like a fun one
Is
to
it a
watch.
musical?
Just 'cause not
Technically.
exactly. It's almost a musical. It's a normal film that just has a lot of songs in it, but they're contextual to the plot. They don't like sing songs for no reason. Like a lot of, you know what I mean? Because I feel like
That's
it's
a
a musical. The
musical.
songs have to be. Well, no, these are because the people in the. It's actually a film about two like lounge singers.
There are movie
and they
musicals.
only sing. Yeah, but they only sing
Like
when it
diegetically.
makes sense in the plot. Yeah.
Yeah, but
exactly.
there's musicals that are like that.
I mean, I feel like you could definitely make the argument it's a musical. I don't think it is because the songs they sing are also like.
Just admit that your
That's
favorite
Amore.
movie's a musical. It's fine.
Imagine though trying to claim it's a musical. And
That's
then
like
you're
once.
so what songs do they sing? They sing "That's Amore."
Have you seen Once?
No.
Such a good movie. But it's another example of like a movie musical where they're like singing because they're both like musicians. So they're like, they write music together kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I would still call that a musical. Sorry, what's your second one?
Oh man. Oh, okay.
Carson just farted.
Dropped a
So.
brick out of my pocket. I'm sorry.
Brick theme tonight.
Yeah,
Brick
my
theme.
Let's just keep moving on.
Okay.
Moving on. All right, we got 3 more. This next one comes from the Reddit, the subreddit. This one comes from Matt Likes Movies. It is, I recall, Karsten
The Ruddles.
missing wine.
That's my answer.
The Ruddles? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
I don't know it.
It's another
a,
one that it's another like semi-musical.
It's that Beatles thing, A Hard Day's Night.
Yeah.
That Beatles thing, it's a movie.
Yep.
The Thing.
Joey-
Explain movies.
Joey
Yep.
had this bit that if we ever had him on the podcast, he's just going to ask what a movie is the whole time. It's funnier when he said it. I recall Karsten dissing wine in a previous episode.
Dissing wine?
I never dissed wine, for the record, because I
No,
drink
you
wine
just
all the
that
time.
one specific type of wine that had a first name.
Josh. I
Josh.
didn't like Josh.
Wait, what was the Riddles movie or whatever that you
The
said?
Ruddles.
The Ruddles.
R-U-T-T.
TT.
TT.
Yeah.
What
it's
it,
yeah.
so,
Yep.
so basically,
All right, yeah, you can read the
question
question.
asks, what is you guys' alcoholic drink of choice then?
If we're going cocktails, mojito.
Mojito. Okay. Nice.
Cool.
Yeah, except for mojitos do look like someone just like scooped some water out of like a ditch. Because there's just like tons of plants.
He
in it,
knows.
and it's like murky.
He knows. Out of
Yeah.
a toilet?
Yeah. Kind of, except for not a toilet.
Why not?
Because there's like
Because a
plants and
ditch!
stuff in there.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
I
That's
don't
a
think
leaf.
you know what kind of
This is your drink of choice.
Yeah,
the one that you
this is-
choose. Got it. I just learned a
Yeah.
lot about Jeff. Okay, don't freak out. I just learned a lot about Jeff.
Wait, we're still recording. We can hear everything you're saying right now.
Oh, I didn't know. Oh, I didn't know that. Sorry, what's your drink of choice?
I don't know.
I feel like you're like a White Claws or beer.
No, not White Claw.
What?
I had a White Claw phase. Everyone has a White Claws phase.
I did not.
I am a beer guy though. I like a beer, and I don't know. I like I've said this before. I like a bready beer, like heavy on the wheat. Heavy on the wheat. I like those kind of beers. I did just get a beer.
Yeah, that's-
no. Okay,
Jeff and I are making the same face,
I thought we
and
were
we're
in
smiling.
agreement that Blue Moon was good.
That's my mom's
Yeah,
favorite beer.
you've said this before, and you're like, yeah, I like when I drink to pretend that I'm eating bread.
Ew,
No, I never.
dude.
Whoa. I never said that. I
Dude.
just said I like when a beer has a slight hint of
Wait.
breadiness.
Cover your ears really quick. Do you think he gets a lot of yeast infections?
What you guys say?
But you were
answers
covering your
little-
ear with your Raycon inside it. Oh wait, but you can't hear. Ah, okay, yeah. I was like, my brain
you
didn't
actually hear me?
understand.
That was telepathic.
No, because he doesn't hear you talking. He would just hear me talking if he
Can you
covered
hear
his
me
ears.
talking?
I can hear
La 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 la.
not
la.
a damn thing.
I think my drink of choice is red wine because it's just easy.
Yeah.
And I don't really like to drink that much.
I really like
Mm-hmm.
red wine, but I've recently discovered that it just gives me awful stomach aches.
Mm.
Like never. I always think that I drank too much and then I have to like puke, but it's
Mm.
not that. It's just because it's just heavy in
Yeah.
my stomach.
I feel like I feel that way about any like mixed like vodka cranberry vodka lemonades or anything. I'm
yeah.
just like it's too reminiscent of like vomiting.
I like vodka sour.
Yeah.
As a sophomore
That's,
in
I think, my
college.
drink of choice. I like a vodka sour.
Yeah. What's in that? Sour Patch Kids.
Yeah, it's...
Cool.
You know what? I actually don't know
Yep.
what's in it. I just know that there's vodka in it.
Yeah, and it's sour.
People make it for me.
And it's sour.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
Next question.
next question, yeah. This next one comes from Nuts in Hell. Crazy names today, guys. Hey, guys. I'm having trouble selecting a college for my film studies next year. With all my anxiety about my parents' financial issues, do you guys think where you go to film school matters in the long term? No. I
I feel like there's so many questions in that I'm like ready to answer.
Yeah.
it depends on what you want to get out of it, to be honest. Like, I would say, like, if you want to, like, honestly, no, I take it back. It doesn't matter. Like, film school will give you a boost and, like, a little bit of a head start and make it easier, I would say. But, like, you can still, like, a lot of people in the film industry didn't go to film school or didn't go to, like, the top film schools, like USC and NYU.
Yeah.
Like,
Do people know where we went to school?
Yeah. I feel like we've talked about it a little bit, at least.
Yeah. I feel like definitely I would not go to film school during a pandemic where it would be online
Yeah.
because it's like there's so
Right.
much to learn from theory, and I think that's so valuable. And like I wish there's just so much that I'm like critical of film school of, where I'm like, I left film school and I'm like, I didn't really have that much exposure to global cinema or like queer cinema or like that much women like directors, you know? So I feel like if you're gonna, I feel like just like take a gap year and just watch a bunch of movies, because that's always gonna be like the best. And I think there's so much value in film school, but that comes from hands-on experiences, like the people you meet, and then you like make buddies, and then you're like, let's just make a stupid movie together. And then I feel like that experience is the point, like getting access to like programs that are so expensive that you have no idea, like you're out of your water, like I don't know where to even start with like industry standard stuff. I think there is value to film schools, and I think at that point it's like whether it's USC or DePaul, but DePaul's also like a really good
DePaul's a
film
great
school,
film school, yeah.
you know, that I was like not expecting. I just feel like there's other paths you can go down.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't feel pressured. Oh my God, especially during a pandemic. Jesus Christ. Like don't drop out of school.
Yeah.
Don't go to school.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree that I would wait until everything is back to normal and from a production
Normal?
standpoint.
I'm just kidding. This guy. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but I think it is a loaded question.
Yeah.
In that it depends what within film you want to do, right? Because if you want to be an editor, I think that's different than if you want to be in production.
What did you study, Jeff?
So I am
Did you just
like
do
I had
like
an
a BA?
NFA
Oh, okay.
in it was in like directing. I don't really actually know what it's in.
That's awesome. Dude, good for you.
Yeah.
So
I
did you
don't
mostly
know.
take like directing, like production-y classes?
Yeah, mostly production classes and like some of the other stuff. I don't know. I took a bunch of classes.
We believe you. We believe you.
Trust me. I was in Chicago. I went to school there. I went to DePaul.
I don't
I
believe
don't believe him. We believe you.
Yeah, no, I know all the DePaul people. Like that one guy with the
Yeah.
the
like
camera.
Mr. DePaul. We get
Our mascot?
Yeah, the
Paul.
mascot, the blue guy.
yeah.
I feel like if your parents' financial situation is also something you're worried about, it's like you could literally just like torrent movies, and there's like so many like
Right.
there's like the best way to learn about movies is to watch movies and to make movies.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like and that's the,
You go.
Nope. You go.
I'll go.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I was just gonna say that I think depending on what you want to do, film production is something that you can definitely get a head start on without going to school, right? And then because the first year of being in film school, if you are coming at it with not a lot of production experience, you're pretty much just learning how cameras work and like some basic stuff that you could, spend time on your own, saving money, and then like getting to the point where right when you get to the school, you can start utilizing the resources and making like higher, production value films. And then you're getting a better value from your time at the school. But yeah, I mean, if your parents' financial situation is a factor, I think that in the broad sense, it only matters if you want to do something like production, and then like one of your options is a school. Like my undergraduate school was the University of Central Florida, and their film program is, like, in terms of production, is almost non-existent. You can technically get a degree in that, but the entire school only has, like, DSLRs is like the highest level camera they have.
Right.
Where that would not be worth it to spend, even like an in-state amount of tuition to just work with a camera that you could just buy yourself for like $1,500.
Yeah, and it's so cool that DePaul has so many cameras you can rent out and test and like play around with. And it's like that's what the value of film school is to me. I feel like it's like getting access to equipment and access to programs that are just like so expensive. And it's like, yeah, you're paying tuition, but you're also being taught how to use these things. And then that's like knowledge for life, kind of.
Right.
I mean,
and
I guess...
also DePaul has access to, because they have sound stages where
right.
like the stuff I've shot on the sound stages, if you were going to try to shoot it like that exact same way with those cameras and crews like that, outside of school, which of course no one would ever do if they didn't have access to it for free once you're already paying tuition. But if they were, like, you're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of shooting days on sound stages that I, had there.
Yeah. And it's also like, usually with tuition, it's like you can get scholarships and financial aid. So it's not like if you just like load up on scholarships, it's like you kind of are doing it for free, which is
right.
cool.
Yeah. And I worked for like over 2 years, like at the actual,
at Cinespace?
soundstage at Cinespace. And I would say that probably 5% of the students actually use the space in a way where it was like advantageous for them.
Yeah, it just
But
depends
those
how you
5%,
use it.
right, those 5% though were getting like a $1 million education where they were using like every weekend they were like renting a grip truck to go on location and like doing this stuff, where pretty much the way the school operates is that the rest of the students who aren't doing that are funding this insane education for the people who are utilizing it.
Yeah. And then
So
there's
there was,
also
like,
the
this-
whole...
yeah.
Sorry, you finish your thought.
No, you go.
I was just
That
going to
was
say,
pretty much it.
there's also like the whole aspect of we got to go to Paris and get an internship there. And we got to go to Cannes and we got like whatever badges we got that we could just like see every movie. And it's like, I could never have imagined in a million years that was an opportunity I would ever have. And it's like... I also studied abroad in Spain for a couple of weeks. I took like a class learning all about Spanish cinema because I'm really interested in like not American movies. And I just feel like I really had to seek out those opportunities in order to ever, but like they're there, they're there.
They're there.
They're there.
I got a whole
Yeah, and
video
it's also
on
so
it.
much about the people.
Yeah, I feel like you've talked about this. People ask you about this, and
That's
it's
why
like,
I'm letting you guys take the floor, because I feel like they've heard my perspective a million times.
Yeah.
And just to get back to the root of the question, which is like, do the top film schools matter? I'll say no for that.
I feel like it's
that-
also like if you want to go to California and be in Hollywood filmmaking, sure. But if you would rather be in like more indie filmmaking, like you have more creative liberties, you can be weird and stupid and quirky, like in Kajillionaire,
You don't even have to study film to pursue. Yeah. I mean.
Yeah, especially because cameras are very cheap now.
Yeah.
Relative to, in terms of like the quality of the cameras versus 5-10 years ago even, like you can buy a camera that will shoot.
You can shoot on your phone.
Like, well, you can shoot like reasonable quality things on your phone, but I'm talking about if you even are trying to shoot something that would rival like the average production on Netflix. You could buy like a lens and get like a Blackmagic pocket cinema camera, and it's gonna look, on a normal size TV, it's gonna look as good as anything that costs, $1 million to shoot.
Yeah.
If you have it like graded correctly and have like, the correct like setup.
Another
but you could get
value-
that for a few $1,000s.
Yeah, totally. I think another value of film school is that you are around other people who are gonna like give you feedback, and I think that was super important, was like just receiving criticism on your work and being like, oh, like that's such a cool idea, I never would have thought of like making my projects better in that way.
Yeah.
And I think that that's like where I thrive, is like tell me everything you hate about what I just made so that I can make it better.
Yeah.
And so I feel like it's like an attitude thing where you have to like want to learn and grow. And if you are kind of stuck in your ways and you're like my way or the highway, then it's like, why would you go to school? Like the point is to use equipment and also get feedback from people.
Right. And it's like you find a group of people that like, also it's like as a group then you push each other to like make more stuff.
Yeah. You hold each
And
other
also,
accountable.
you have different perspectives.
Yeah.
So then you find people that you can like tolerate being around and that you actually appreciate what they say.
Yeah.
That's the one.
And then
thing,
of course there's a lot of people that you think are huge idiots,
Yeah.
Right.
Like Karsten.
which is kind of funny.
What?
What were you going to say? Go ahead, what were you going to say?
I was gonna say. That's so. I was gonna say I love the community part of film school too. I love meeting all my friends.
Yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
All red in the face. Yeah, because I feel like that's a huge thing. It's like, especially if you come from like a small town, to be honest. Like if you're in a place where it's like not a lot of your friends are pursuing the same thing.
Yeah.
You don't.
If you're in a place where like
anybody.
your best friend are sheep.
A goat.
Speaking from experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have a trampoline in like a rusty barn that's about to fall down.
Did you have owls?
Yeah, we had some owls.
God, that's so cool.
Yeah, if you have some owls.
You're set. You're golden.
You're good.
Yeah, I mean, like, sometimes you just want to mix it up.
Yeah.
Did you finish your point?
And that's why you go to film school.
The community.
So, yeah, I just think like it helps at least. Because it's like it's hard to break into the industry and like because everybody's always like, yeah, just get on set and like PA or just like volunteer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's hard to do that. I feel like if you're some kid from like rural Indiana or something. And I think film school helps in that way. And just like, I mean, you can still do it like in
The
whatever.
networking aspect of it.
Yeah. Which I hate bringing up just like the networking aspect of it, but that is like a perk that comes with, I think, going to film school and surrounding yourself with a bunch of other people who are pursuing the same thing.
Yeah. But I feel like networking has kind of more malicious intent. It's kind of
yeah.
like, I'm going to use you to go further.
Exactly.
And film school is like, oh, we're just like here to make friends. You know,
Yeah.
it's not like I'm going to use you for your career to enhance my career. It's kind of
Yeah.
just like level playing ground.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, we're all just like buddies who don't know what we're doing at all. So it's just play. Like it's literally just like
Right.
you're playing.
We're recording a podcast.
We're recording a podcast for somehow.
There was an episode a while back where Jeff and I were recording the podcast on the Country Bears while two of our friends were working on Batman downtown.
Yeah.
At the same time. And I think that really sums up film school. You know, you could be
Absolutely.
doing anything.
Yeah.
That was just a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah, that was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Cool.
Last question.
Well, I honestly don't
time.
think we have time for the last question because we're already.
Wait,
at like an
well,
hour.
if it's a question we can answer in like 1 minute, we can do it.
We'll go one word
It's-
at a time.
Okay, we'll see. I'll ask it, and if we can't, it comes from.
To be honest, if someone listened to that entire last answer without turning this off, I think they are okay with one more question.
I agree.
Cyhots9292 asks, if you could have the facial hair of a movie character or a celebrity, who would it be?
Oscar Isaac and Inside Llewyn Davis.
Oh my god, that's a great
Yeah,
answer.
I'm gonna agree with
that's
that,
a
actually.
Great answer.
We
You
just
know what?
ended on such a
also,
note.
Joaquin Phoenix's mustache and her. I think
Yeah.
it looks good personally.
Yeah, that's another good answer.
Um,
I feel pressure now that I have to come up with a good one.
The Boss Baby and Boss Baby.
Like,
Wait, that was the best
Borat.
No.
Okay, take that back. We could have ended on such a good note with Oscar Isaac. Hubba.
Cool. Well, we'll wrap things up then by announcing next week's movie.
We didn't talk about
Talk
that,
about
did we?
it now. Yeah, we'll tweet it out. We'll figure this one out later.
I feel like we barely talked about Kajillionaire. Like, we barely
this
scratched
is what
the
happens
surface.
on the podcast, to be honest.
Yeah. I feel like we talked about it a bit, but then like the percentage of the podcast was taken over by
Sports.
the fact that we talked equally as long about film school.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a beneficial episode. People got something out of this.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a podcast, you can have a lot of interests and you'll be interested in this podcast for like 2 minutes, depending on what your interest is.
Yeah. So yeah, as for a movie, we will be announcing that on the Twitter later, and if we decide within the next few days, maybe I do say it in the episode, and I edit it in now.
Nope.
Cool.
If you do edit it in, make it like a really monotone voice so it just feels like very
Get
planted.
Siri to say it.
Yeah.
Da,
I
da,
actually
da,
will.
da, da.
Do it like Duolingo, like the really generic voice.
Oh yeah. I don't actually. You're the Duolingo. Wait,
Oh
did
my
you
god.
keep up your streak?
Stop. Yeah.
You wanna share that?
Currently
While
at.
I look up a review.
Do you know about this? That I have like a really long streak going?
I do know that.
I'm at
I know.
635 days.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you're getting to 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just about. Which is weird.
Yeah.
It's in French. And I was at 50 days when we went to Paris.
Yeah.
it's
so
crazy to
you
think how long.
feel Do you feel like you can speak French at like a moderate level?
Thank you. No. But I feel like I understand, because my first language is Spanish, and so I feel like that already gives me a leg up, just because it's a Romance language and it has very similar grammar structure. And I feel like going to Paris was like, oh, I can get the accent down, and I can like, and now it's just like learning vocabulary, you know? So it's kind of like I understand the grammar, I'm understanding the how to say it, and now I'm just kind of like learning more words and stuff. So I don't think I could have a conversation, but I think that I could like overhear something and be like, oh, I think that was in French. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How different in terms of like the sounds that your mouth needs to make for Spanish, like how much does that help you for French?
It's so different. It's like not even the same. A lot of the words when I read it are like the same, but it's just the pronunciation is so different.
Yeah, like French, I tried for like very briefly, and my mouth, I'm bad at languages also. I'm terrible at accents. It's actually comical when I try to speak a different language, how bad. Like,
yeah, there's been a few times where Jeff tries to do French, and it's...
Do it right now, go.
Like, I'll try to do Spanish. This will be really bad.
Oh, no.
Mis amigos y yo jugamos fútbol en la playa.
That wasn't that bad.
It was fine. It
It's
was
okay.
like 4 out of 10.
I understood you.
Yeah, thank you. Je mange une orange.
Yeah, that's like the first thing you learn in Duolingo. I understood that. It's the first thing you learn in Duolingo. Everything builds off of that. Do you have subtitles on this episode?
Yeah.
Cool.
We got a guy who does
We got
subtitles.
a subtitle guy. Cool. Good to know.
Yeah, we've been interned.
An intern.
Well, I have a review if you want to read that.
Yeah, let's do that. We probably
Oh,
should.
that's so sweet.
This one comes from, we read a review every episode if you guys didn't know, to encourage you guys to leave reviews because we love hearing what you guys have to say.
Aww.
This one comes from Anonymous Bob eating wee. Subject line is a triumph, 5 stars, and it is, I have watched the Karstcast since the first episode.
I'm here to make fun of them.
And I've loved it ever since. I weirdly have so many good memories of this podcast that ranges from the time I sent in a disastrous spaghetti western question to just anything that Jeff says. Oh, and Karsten's wheeze laugh. I've spoken to both of these guys on Instagram, and they both really seem so down to earth. Hopefully, when I get more money, I'll become a patron. But no matter what, the podcast will never not be my favorite. Thanks, guys. Jules.
Aww.
Appreciate it, Jules.
You guys,
Thank you.
That's so nice.
Yeah, that's one of.
And I remember the spaghetti western question, and it wasn't a bad question. We just gave really bad answers because we're both like, we don't even know what technically a spaghetti western is.
How?
You said Five Goes West, right?
I said Five Goes West.
Y'all, get out of here. 4 years of film school. Goodbye. It's over. It's curtains for film school. Don't go. What do you learn? Anyway. That's so awesome.
Yeah, thank you, Anonymous Robert or Jules, whoever you are. Lastly, we'd like to thank the patrons. If you would like to become a patron, head on over to patreon.com/Karstcast, where you can get exclusive access to bonus episodes, Q&As, shoutouts at the end of every episode, and much more. We just did a Zoom hangout yesterday, by the time you hear this episode. We haven't actually done it yet, but yesterday.
Tomorrow, but...
We're time traveling.
Yeah, so today is Monday.
Yeah.
No, it's Saturday.
So tomorrow we're doing a Zoom hangout that's yesterday from today.
Yes.
It is Saturday, y'all.
It is Saturday, yeah.
Where am I? Get me out of here.
So with all that said, here's that shout out. Thank you, Allison Grace, Annabelle Falk, Bex, Blake Root, Boat, Brandon Yu, Brock Schultz, Cameron, Mason McCurdy, Camilla Eden, Ethan Justice, Fozzie Bear, Grant Gow, Hannah E, Harry Remedianakis, Holly Edwards, Iron Tusk 93, Isabel, Iva, Jaden Easton, Jacob Kolnes, John Van Hout, Joshua Kraswicki, KDT, Kevin Turner, Lickwe, Liv Rob, Lucian Vicina, Luke Vinyard, Maddie Robertson, Martin Deff, Mary Lee Borslow, Michael Decker, Moses Ox, Monroe Page, Pablo Patel, Parks, Ready Steady Ernie, Robert Burke, Sam Farr, Sophia Arieta, Supercalifragilistic Expialidocious, Smitty, Werbin, Jagerman Jensen, Taylor Hardy, 10 Billion, Toad Pimp, Tom Lakes Beans, Vegard Strom, Vera S. What's Brown and Slides Down Nelson's Column, Winnie Mandela. Wow, Karsten, you are doing a great job reading these names. Yoki Sasquatch and Yusef A.
To think you memorized that.
Yeah.
To think.
Off the dome.
Yeah, he actually wasn't. He was not reading that.
No, we were making direct
I
eye
didn't-
contact the
Yeah,
entire
yeah.
time.
I was closing my eyes and my ears.
And your ears.
Yep.
That was so cool.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. We appreciate it. And you know what? That's everything we have to do.
That's pretty much how this goes normally.
Thank you guys for having me. This was so silly.
Yeah, Cookie, thanks for being
thanks
here for the
being
third
here.
time.
Yeah.
First guest to be here 3 times.
A new record.
And
Yeah.
you know what? We made the right choice.
We did.
Aw.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Awesome.
I'm gonna say that you won the analysis award for best analysis.
Thank you. This movie
Honestly-
just
Yeah,
hit me so deeply.
Yeah.
And I feel like I didn't even really get into it. I'm like, there's so much I could have said.
What were you gonna say, Jeff? Because I felt a roast.
I was gonna
coming.
say Karsten won the analysis award the last like 10 in a row. So it's nice to mix it up.
No, I haven't. Straight up, we've never actually talked about a movie on this podcast.
That's the beautiful thing about it.
I will say, I think you did have the best analysis we've had on the podcast so far. No one ever talks about the movies when they come on, but yeah.
Why? What did I talk about the other times?
I was actually going to bring this up. The first episode you were on was Shoplifters, which in a way
God.
is kind of similar to this movie because
Oh
it's
my
a
God.
family of
Yeah.
Shoplifters.
criminals, yeah.
Oh my
and
god.
criminals, yeah.
I have a niche.
Yeah, and
I'm
then
okay
the other
with
one was
it.
Garfield. Also,
Why was I there? I did not watch that movie. I was just
Yeah.
hanging out. Did I talk at all?
you were kind of like the the late night host. They have the guy that kind of supports.
It was the
jokes.
middle of the day.
Yeah.
Oh, I was Hannibal Buress.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Cool. Well, do you have anything you want to plug?
No, I'm going off the grid.
Of course.
Do not look forward to hearing from me until February. I will not be accessible or
Yeah.
reachable or knowable.
Right.
That's the
Okay.
beautiful thing about it. Has it been 2 hours and 17 minutes?
No, it's been an hour and 17 minutes.
Whoa, long app.
Yeah.
You
Jeff-
should just cut out anything I say. IMO.
I forget to cut one, and they're like, "Wait, who was that? Who was that?" Jeff, do you have anything else to say?
Yeah, catch you on the flip side.
Yeah, okay.
Catch you on the flip side.
Catch you on the flip side.
Flip side.
Flipping.
I don't have the soundboard, so I can't play the outro song today.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-bum.
I'm gonna end it on
Karstcast
that
outro.
note.